But now we're going to transition to our deep dive for the month, which again, as I mentioned earlier, is a way to go deeper on a particular topic rather than try to cover all of these things through a fire hose at a training session. This allows us to spend a little bit more time, and it allows more people to be a part of things as well. And one of the ways we can gain notoriety in our communities is by building a relationship with the local media. And here to talk about the importance of utilizing the media and providing some tips and tricks you can implement in your club and district are our Public Image Team Advisor, Patrick Harrison, and one of our Assistant Public Image Coordinators, Amber Scarborough. And if you have any questions along the way, send them on and we'll answer them at the end. So Patrick, Amber, it's off to you.
First of all, how do we follow Alex? That's not fair.
I did this on purpose. I did this on purpose. You guys do not get front and center billing today, so you're welcome.
That was awesome. Like, I'm so on fire after Alex's presentation. That was really, really good. And it's been so fun watching Pam building out the website on the back end and then getting to hear the front end of that story, Alex. And it's amazing. I hope everybody go take in that website. It is brilliant. I love the quotes that you have from all of your members at the bottom. They're wise.
And the information about the club, like, that's so important that you can go to that website immediately, know everything about the club and how to join. It's real simple. Also, just a couple takeaways. I think it's important to reiterate. The service projects are relevant to the community. They're not the same service project that you've done for 30 years that might not be relevant. And it's not about the check writing photos. It's action, 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 action. So thank you, Alex. And you're our brother. I love you. I can't wait to see you in Dallas, but I don't want to follow you next time. So we're going to have to figure
One
it out.
final plug. If you guys want a great Club Runner website, hire Pam. She is the master.
Yeah, Pam is our sister and we love her. And hi, Pam, if you watch this. Okay, so we're going to, first of all, how's everybody doing? Everybody good? Give us a thumbs up. It's good to see everybody. So today we're going to dive into media. And I know that's something that when Amber and I do this talk, everyone sort of looks at us like, oh no, media, I'm scared. There's no way they can communicate with us. We never get media. Well, today we're going to give you some tips and tricks that you can immediately take back to your club and implement. So you're going to implement we're going to get some great ideas from Alex. You're going to take that and you're going to come in and you're going to start working with the media. Before we get started and before we get into sharing the screen, Amber, if everybody could raise their hand, who feels that they know how to handle media and they're not afraid to deal with the media? Okay, we got some hands. Good. Awesome. If you have any tips or tricks, please put them in the chat section as we go forward. Just so you know that this little talk we're going to give, Amber and I are going to give, we've been doing this for now 6 years all over the place, not only our district that we love, but all over the place. And it works. We promise you it works. If you just take these tips and you implement it into your community, you will see, unless there's a lot of breaking news in your community and they can't cover you, you will see a relationship with the media strengthen and you'll get some coverage. In fact, just to give a little plug to our district governor now, Beverly Ludicky, she actually heard this talk, 5 years ago, Amber? And now we joke that she gets the camera focused on her at the grocery store. Is she buying bread? Is she buying milk? Because she literally has that strong of a relationship now with the media. So it's really cool to see. All right. So Amber, take it away.
Okay. So we wanted to share, we are going to do some screen sharing today so we can share some different where we host this information. Because I think all of us on this call are district leaders and we are trying to help inspire and teach our clubs also how to handle the media. So one of the things that we've done, and I'm going to share the screen right there on that Plano West website first. I wanted to show where we have chosen to host this information for our clubs, because part of this is making sure our clubs are successful, is giving them these resources on your district website. So on our district website, we have a media section that includes a sample email request and media contacts. So this is one of the things right away that we built out that shows an example email of how to send in and request media. And we're going to get into the details of all this. I just wanted to show you where it's housed at. And then also the links, phone numbers, websites, and emails for all of the media that covers Central Texas, right? So this is just an afternoon of Patrick and I and Pam playing around and grabbing this information and putting it on the website. But it is really helpful to the clubs then when they are trying to go out and get media coverage. Here's who to send it to, and here's an example of the language that you need to do it.
Why is this so short? We're going to get into this a little bit more in a second, but why this is so short, if you can go back to that for just a second. Amber and I always try to stress the media does not need to hear a million things from you when you email. Okay. They just need to hear essentially, could you please add this? We'll get into that in a second. Here is the press release. Have a good day. Talk to you soon. A lot of people they feel like they need to sell their story. They're not going to listen to you. They just want a quick to the point. Here's the press release. Let that speak for you. Also, I just want to mention before we continue, Amber and I are brother and sister in Rotary.
Not really brother and sister.
No, we're not really brother. We used to say husband and wife in Rotary, and that was
weird.
We changed it. But we like to interrupt each other, so please don't be offended by that. We like to keep each other going, and it's the energy, so just jump on with us. Secondly, media, this is an important thing to bring up before we even dive further. Not everything is media coverage worthy. I want to repeat that. Not everything is media coverage worthy. So essentially, sit back and think about a couple of your projects, or if you're doing service projects that are very impactful or a fundraiser, pick one or two or three of those things that you're like, you know what, I think the media really would like this story. This is a community impact story. That's what you send in. That's what you contact. The reason this is important is if you're in the Chicago area, or if you're, and by the way, I also want to bring this up. This whole tips and tricks we're going through, this works for the major markets like New York, Los Angeles, Houston, Chicago, etc., as well as smaller markets. So sometimes people will ask us, well, does it work in different markets? Yes, it's tried and true. Secondly, you're working for your club, but you're also representing Rotary as a whole. So if Amber and I are working really hard to make sure the media in the Central Texas area likes Rotary, but then Pam, I'm just going to pick on Pam, she decides to start messing it up by sending really bad press releases, emailing constantly, or when the media shows up, they're not professional. That's going to hurt our relationship with the media. So think about all the people you're working with in your districts. Make sure that you're representing Rotary well, and you have that good representation of Rotary in the media, and they will start showing up for other club things. So keep going, Amber. Sorry.
Okay. So back to the media little toolbox over here. And the other part that we have is our slides, which we're going to get into in just a minute and share with all of you our presentation, and the slides live there under the media section. And then we have a press release template that clubs can, it's a Word document. I'm going to show it to you, and a press release example, because this is something that's really important for the clubs to be able to see when they're building out their own press releases. So the first one I'm going to show is an example press release. And on this, it's really important that it has the contact information, it's properly branded. We got the master brand logos on there. We've got the who, what, when, where, and most importantly, why. But it's consolidated. And we've seen press releases, and a lot of our clubs send their press releases to us to review. And we've seen really, really great ones. And then we've seen some really, really long ones that forgot to mention the word Rotary in it, right? So it helps to get a second set of eyes on press releases, because when we're doing them, we just kind of get caught up in them. But that who, what, when, where, and most importantly, the why in our press release is what we want to make sure is in from the very beginning. This press release then becomes, for lack of a better word, our Bible for the event, right? It is our language that we're going to use for our social media posting, for our website, for our flyers. All that language that we're developing in the press release really helps the club move forward in the event as well.
Couple of quick pointers here. This was a State Department official event that Amber and I worked on for a couple clubs. It was a club partnership. And so you're going to see that logo right there. Boom. That's a focal point. That got the media's attention, obviously. You have your Rotary logo, your district logo up front. Yes, we use the district logo instead of a club logo because it gives a little bit more weight. Of course, this was also a multiple club event in the district. But the most important thing in a press release, besides everything Amber just said, is this quote right here. Because a lot of times in today's media world, they do not have enough reporters. Reporters are busy. They'll send a camera person out. They'll shoot some B-roll. If a camera person shows up, that means, hey, they use their camera person to come to you. That's good. That's a good indication you're going to be aired, right? Every single thing you put in this press release, you must expect to be on air, because a lot of times, especially in different markets, a press release will be sent. They'll be the way it works is they're brought up in a meeting the day of, saying, hey, we have this to cover, that to cover, this to cover. Someone's going to say, hey, we have a Mandela Washington Fellowship thing. Cool, I'll take that. This script, this press release is sent to the producer. The producer will write the script for the anchor to say right straight from your press release. So make sure whatever you want aired, it's going to be on this press release. And if you say something that's incorrect, it might be aired. Also, just a second note, if you're doing if you're doing an event you've never done before and you can't get an impact statement, a quote of the impact, that is the most important thing. We're going to dive more into that in a second. You can make it up. Okay. Like I wrote this pre the event because I just knew how important this event was going to be to me in my heart. Like I spoke from the heart. Boom. It was used in the media. So again, this press release is so important to get done way before you start doing anything else with an event, so you have that Bible to move forward in.
The other piece that's really important is the mention of Rotary, not just as our club, but that we are part of Rotary International, 1.2 million passionate individuals and 35,000 plus clubs. So that little tagline, we've included that in our press release template as well as the example. So I'm going to switch over to that and show you this one now. This press release template just has where they can change out their logo if they need to. It kind of gives them the outline of what it should look like. And then it's already got the tagline in there for them. That's just a handy thing that's helpful for clubs as they're developing their own press releases. Okay, we're going to switch gears now.
Also, as she's switching gears, we're going to have a lot of this information from our district website on the zone website for us in the toolkit that we have. But feel free to visit our district website if you want to sort of copy or make it better. And if you make it better, please let us know, because we want to copy you. Because again, this is not a competition. We're all, like Alex said, and we preach this at the top of the mountain. This is Rotary together. We want every single club and every single district all over Rotary to be strong. Okay, so we're going to go as fast as we can. Another thing is Amber and I usually focus about an hour and a half on this one subject. Okay, so we're going to do our very best to give you some tools and tricks. And then if you want us to come back and speak at a district conference or anything anywhere in the region, we are available to do that because we care deeply about making sure you know how to do this. But research the various media outlets in your community. That's the first thing that people should do, is you should look at television, radio. Don't forget the AM dial. A lot of people forget that AM dial. It's very important. They're hungry for great stories. Don't forget newspaper. And don't forget your community blogs, your community newspapers that a lot of people know connections to. For the rest of this conversation, though, we're just going to focus on television news, but the entire process works for all the other all the other avenues of media. Print can also, we're going to cover this. You can cover the after story. A lot of newspapers will write a story about an event after it happened. Create a relationship with them. Go onto the news station websites and see who the community reporters are. Maybe the really cool reporter that just moved into town. Invite them to be a speaker in your club. They will love it. Trust me. They love to eat a good meal. They love to be in the spotlight. All my media friends know this. And they want to get to know who their connections are in the community. They want to hear what's happening in the community. They need those contacts. So invite them to speak. Invite them to be a member of the club, even if it's honorary. In fact, we have one club in our district that has such a strong relationship with one of the big meteorologists in town. Again, just so you know, in TVQ land, which means it's a rating of how a specific TV personality can pull an audience, TVQ, meteorologists get huge ratings. So invite a meteorologist to come speak at the club, get to know them. They're your into the newsroom. Hint, hint. They're the end of the newsroom, and they can help you get to know who to know. All right. Contact them with a press release within 2 to 6 weeks ahead of time. We put this on here. We used to only have 2 weeks. Now we have 6 weeks because different markets are different. And sometimes clubs need to get out there way in advance. I think it's safer to stick with that 2 week personally. And honestly, I do this so much that I actually can do it 3 days before an event. Okay. But that's because I have contacts with the media and they'll take my email quickly. But again, 2 to 6 weeks before, and this is what you're going to do. You're going to call. This is very important. And we're going to have these slides up in the Zone website. So you'll be able to go back and look at them. Of course, we're recording this and you can listen to us again. But you want to call the assignment desk of every local TV station. If you remember, Amber showed you a second ago, we have all the numbers listed for our district. So all they have to do is just copy, make a phone call. And you're going to ask, they're going to answer the phone and they're going to sound like they're in a bad mood. Okay. They're going to say, newsroom. And it's going to be like, oh. And most people get nervous. They want to start explaining themselves. Don't do that. All you have to do is say, hi, my name is Patrick Harrison. I'm with the Rotary Club of blah, blah. And we are hosting in a Mandela, I'm just going to pick a homeless shelter event where we're giving blankets and free food and entertainment for all the wonderful people in our community that have housing that are homeless. We are having it on this day. And I would like to send my press release to your email to be added to the calendar on August 6th. That's all you have to say. They'll say, perfect, love it. Send it to this email. You say, thank you so much. I'm going to follow back with you to make sure you got my press release. Have a good day. You do that with every single person. Boom, 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 boom. Then you're going to send that email. We showed you the sample template. Very simple, to the point. Hey, great talking to you. Please add us on the calendar for da-da-da-da-da. By the way, most newsrooms still say calendar. Some might say grid. Don't be thrown off by that. Some will say, okay, I'll add it to the grid. Same thing. Then I like to follow back and just say, they'll answer again, newsroom. Hey, it's Patrick again. Just want to make sure you got the email. Yeah, no problem. I got it. Thanks. Now, that does not mean you're going to get covered. Okay. They might even say, hey, it looks awesome. I can't believe Kyle is going to be speaking there. That is so cool. We love Kyle, right? That doesn't mean you're going to be covered. So here is the number one tip that a lot of Rotarians do not do. And I'm going to tell you, I'm a pro at this. And we had all the media. I mean, I had every media outlet say, oh my God, I cannot wait to cover this. We got you. So I told all of our committee, and Amber was on this. I said, hey, we've got it. We've got all the media. Every station's coming. And then guess what? There was breaking news, big breaking news at our state capitol. We lost almost all the coverage, right? But also, I do this, and thank God I do it. And I recommend every single club to do it. Call back the day of the event or the day before. I like to do it like the night before. And here's a kicker. If you call 2 weeks ago or a week ago in the morning time, which, by the way, the best time is between 10 and noon. It's between newscasts. Okay. You don't want to be calling right before a newscast because they're slammed. Then the night before the event, you want to call another time when that other staff member is at the desk. Because what happens is sometimes they're in competition. They want to get the best stories. And I've called numerous times where I was guaranteed the press was coming. And when I called that night before, the person on the night shift at 8 o'clock said, I have no record of what you're talking about. I don't even see it. Please send it to me at my personal email and I will get it covered. So again, do not just rely on that first call. Make sure to make the second call. I can guarantee you this. If you follow these steps, you will get news coverage if they have available, space for coverage. And there's not like a massive nuclear bomb going off. You know what I mean? Like, in other words, if there's not some huge breaking news happening, which I know is hard in today's world, there's a lot of breaking news these days, you will get coverage. If your story is worth covering and you wrote the press release clearly, to the point, with the impact, the hook is what we call it, the story, the hook, with the why, which we can dive in more later. Okay. Did I talk too much? Give me.
Now we're good. So again, it's not about what we're doing. It's not about the actual mechanics of the project. It is about the why you're doing the project. And we just want to keep hammering that in because it needs to be part of our language and the way we're describing our projects to the public.
And that's what Alex was saying a second ago, by the way.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. It's just that's how we say it, is that no one cares what your Rotary Club does. They don't. Trust me. They don't care that you have a spaghetti dinner. They don't care that you have a pancake dinner. They care why you're doing it. And they want to see where that money is going or where that impact's happening. So that's exactly the same thing, the why. Always think of that when you're thinking of stuff.
I love this. A day of the event, you've gone through the trouble of getting media there. Make sure everybody looks good. I love all the photos that Alex had up, and that's one of my questions that I hope it gets answered in the after Q&A. But make sure everybody's showing up with properly branded T-shirts, signage. Make sure you have some brochures and business cards for the public there, right? That look good.
That are clear and they have information on how to join. Those brochures need to have information on how to join.
There are new and improved templates on myrotary.org. We're not going to get into all of that today. It's just part of the slides, and I wanted you to know that they're here. It's okay to get creative. Just use the RI guidelines. I think we're all hearing that now. But we're going to jump into interacting with the media the day of event. And this is a really important slide. Patrick, take this one.
Okay, so this to me and Amber this is the meat and bones, because you could follow everything we just said to get the media there. But let's say Kyle and Linda worked really hard to get the media there. But then the day of the event, the media is treated like an alien and it's a horrible experience. What's going to happen is the media is going to go back to the newsroom and say, don't cover anything Rotary. That was a you know what, that was just not good. Whereas if you follow these steps, they're going to go and they're going to say, hey, that Rotary event was so professional and so easy. I want to go next time. And they had good food too. I want to go next time. And you'll start having appointment reporters. In fact, we have a couple here that will literally cover, if they have the time, anytime we say Rotary. So here's what you do. About a week or two before the event, you're going to assign a media liaison to welcome and walk. First of all, they're going to greet the media. They're going to introduce themselves. They're going to be kind, and they're going to be always with the media wherever they go during the event. This is not your club president. This is not the person that's running around with the chicken with their head cut off in charge of the event. This is a specific person with a sole job of making sure the media is welcomed and they're taking care of the entire event. Be sure to make sure the media liaison knows that press release back and forth and knows the important angles to point out of the information you want covered. For example, if we're walking into an event and there's a service project where they're giving away food, then they're going to have children playing in a brand new playground that was just built. And then there's going to be the governor of a state there with the district governor. You're going to say, okay, welcome. In about 10 minutes, we're going to be over here. Then in about 30 minutes, we're going to be here. And then this is a big important thing with the governor of Texas and the district governor of our district. So I just want to let you know, this is sort of the flow of the event. If you need anything at all, please let me know. I'm going to be right here for you. And here's my information. Can I also get a card for you? We're going to tell you the importance of that in just a second. You also want to designate an on-camera person to be interviewed by the media. Now, Amber and I are pros at this, okay? And one time we made a mistake. We had the media at this really important event, and our district governor was walking up the staircase, and I said, hey, dude, you're going to be on camera in 5 minutes. And he was like, what? Huh? He was like, oh, no. And so he got up on camera. He's amazing, by the way. But he got on camera, and he was a little nervous at first because I forgot to prepare him. And so he didn't mention Rotary the first time. But because we feel comfortable handling the media, I said, hey, because remember, I'm the liaison. So I said, hey, can we do that one more time? And hey, district governor, blah, blah, can you mention Rotary? And he goes, absolutely. And the second time he hit a home run. So what we do now is we make sure to give the on-camera person enough time, at least a week in advance, say, hey, Kyle, Tom, and Diane, you're going to be the ones on camera, okay? So you're the district governor, the club president, maybe the person in charge of the community event. You're going to know the who, what, where, why, when. You're going to know talking points that are most important to convey. Like, this is a fundraiser that's impacting the why. This is how you join our club. This is what Rotary is. Whatever it might be, they know it, and they're completely calm and collected and clear when they get there in front of a camera. Please do not. We all have our friends that we love that are shy as soon as a light comes on. That is not your on-camera person, okay? The on-camera person needs to be a person like me that can talk by himself in a room to a wall and feel comfortable, okay? So you want someone that knows how to interact in front of a camera. And please make sure to represent Rotary and your specific club. And be clear that you would love for them to come visit and get involved in making the world a better place. Does that make sense? Thumbs up. Cool.
All right. We're getting into the follow-up. So we've done beforehand. We've fostered that relationship. We've gotten through the day of. We had our media liaison. We got some good coverage. We don't just stop there. Then we need to follow up. So after the project, it's really important. You've gotten that card. Your media liaison got a card from the camera person, give them their card, and asked, I'm going to follow up with you to get a online link or a digital copy of this coverage. It's really important. We want to be able to share that ourselves on our own social media pages. So getting that link from them after is going to be really important for these next few steps. After that, who knows Rotary Showcase? Raise your hands. It's getting better. It's getting better. It's like, I think that was almost 60%. And that makes me really happy. So I'm going to skip on down here to Rotary Showcase for anybody that didn't get to raise their hand, but Rotary Showcase is on RI's website with really great search engine optimization. They have given us a home to upload and archive our projects. And this is a great thing to do afterwards. Go add your project. You can search for other projects and see what else is being done out there in the world. It helps track all of the projects of Rotary International. It's a really powerful tool, but I think selfishly for me and my club, it gives my projects a place to live. Once that is there and it's on the website for Rotary Showcase, it gives us a beautiful little link that then allows us to share it on all of our social media pages. And then this is what it looks like when it goes out. African entrepreneurs celebrate Nelson Mandela Day. Blankets for the elderly. So this then gives us a nice little website that's shareable on our social media pages after the event. And we get our other layer of publicity as well.
Two things
Okay.
real quickly. I just want to point out reason we have these two slides and we love both of these. In fact, this was our event to the left and we love this club, but what picture is more interesting and makes you want to click? It's the one on the left, at least from my opinion, because you want to know what's this all about. This is that posing thing that Rotary does a lot. We really want action photos. So it would have been a better photo for them to use a handing out the blankets or who's the person getting the blankets. So that's
Any
just
of these
something to keep in
photos
mind.
on Plano West website. How about that?
Exactly. Also, if you go back real quick to the before the Rotary Showcase, that digital link, make sure that you use that and share that with your district. Don't just keep it to yourself, okay? Because a lot of times the districts are like, we didn't know that you got covered here. Make sure to send it to your district. And if for some reason you didn't get press, this is something very important to say, and I like to make sure you hear this. You worked hard. You did everything possible that we showed you in some of your tips and tricks you have, but you didn't get that coverage. That does not mean anything. That does not mean you didn't do it right. This is a weird, crazy world we live in, and sometimes the media just doesn't have the time. Don't call them after and say, why didn't you cover me? Just next time, do the same step again. Be as professional as you were before. I promise you, they will show up when they can because they're hungry for stories, and they tell us in all different markets, they're hungry for what Rotary is doing in the community. Just follow these steps, be professional, and it will happen. Also, if for some reason you didn't get covered, take some really good action shots, write a quick one page of the wrap up of what happened, send it to your local newspapers. A lot of times they will cover post what happened. Another tip real quick, and I'm trying to do this in 10 minutes, not an hour and a half. So hopefully you're getting some stuff out of this. I feel like the Micro Machine guy. If you remember the Micro Machine guy. If you did not get covered late at night, like at the 10 o'clock news, if you're watching it, your DVR, and you're like, hey, wait a minute, I didn't get covered. Or it was a quick snip of the anchor just saying, today, Tom Gump did this. Go and DVR the morning show the next day. The morning show has 2.5 to 3 hours of stuff to cover. I can guarantee you it's most likely going to be a longer story in the morning show, and your digital news source like social media page, Facebook, Facebook or Twitter of that news station, they'll have the story there too, because they need to fill up space for that. So I think we covered as much as we could in the time we had. So I hope this was helpful for everybody. Again, it's like riding a bike. Jump in. Don't be afraid. We're always here to help. We're always here to come and talk to you wherever you are. And we look forward to seeing all the amazing media PR rock stars we have on this show today. And again, thank you, Kyle and Alex, and we'll throw it back to you.
Thanks, Patrick. Thanks, Amber. Great information as always. And I want to emphasize 2 points there. One, you said right at the end, the writing taking a picture of people in action and sending it after the event to a local newspaper. I don't know about everywhere in our Midwestern part of or the middle part of our country, but here in the Twin Cities, local newspapers are struggling. They can't have as many reporters as they once had, especially in smaller communities. They're going to love a publish-ready piece that's coming from you, because that's less work they need to do. So don't be irritated that they didn't come to your event, because like in our community, which is a community of 30,000 people, there's an editor that covers 2 or 3 local newspapers, and I think they have 2 staff writers. They can't do everything. But anytime that we submit anything in with a picture or with an article or whatever, it's in there that week because they're looking for content in the paper at this point in time. So certainly, remember that relationship and how can you help them help you as well. So we're right at about the hour mark here, 58 minutes. Good. Two things. Number one, one thing that I heard from Alex and from Amber and Patrick is be intentional. None of this stuff happens by accident. And I think all of us, when we look at the things that we're successful with in our clubs or our businesses or our districts or our families, it doesn't just happen because we hope it happens. And it's the same way when we're going to promote our club or do service projects or whatever. It's about having a plan, treating it as a business, as Alex said, and really being intentional in our steps to make sure we get to success.